Flow.
Salve, salve família, bem-vindos a mais um Flow. Eu sou o Igor e hoje por essa tu não esperava, essa que é a verdade. Eu vou conversar com Armin, cara, um dos maiores DJs do mundo, tá sentado aqui, bem aqui na minha frente. Thank you for coming, Armin.
Thanks for inviting me. Cool.
No, come on, man, you're Armin. Right? Aí, família, é o seguinte, ó. Esse recado aqui é pra quem carrega o piano nesse país, tá bom? Eu tô falando com você aí que é empresário. Tem um monte de gente que acha que é só glamour, mas na realidade, o cara muitas vezes tá sozinho, tomando decisão no escuro, errando pra caramba, sendo que na verdade tem todo um ecossistema que existe pra te ajudar nesse sentido. Eu tô falando do G4, cara. O G4 funciona como uma bússola pra quando o mercado parece um caos, tá? Lá tem um ecossistema com método e conhecimento aplicado para dar direção aos empresários que fazem o Brasil avançar. Se você tá confortável com mais ou menos, cara, nem clica no link, nem escaneia QR Code, nem nada. Agora, se você tá afim de levar o teu negócio pro próximo nível, é com você que eu tô falando e o G4 é pra você, tá bom? Então o QR Code aqui ou então o link na descrição vai te levar para um caminho que você vai entender melhor esse mundo dos negócios com quem já fez e com quem tá fazendo também. Tá bom? Então não perde tempo não, clica aí, ó. Eu não sei se você já investe, mas o mercado tá cheio de oportunidades para quem tá afim de diversificar, tá? Então, se você tava esperando a hora certa para investir em ouro, dólar digital, cripto, cara, chegou o momento. Porque a Mint fez uma parceria com a Livelo e se você usar o cupom Livelo26, você consegue juntar até 500 mil pontos no Livelo e depois usar como quiser, cara. Dá pra comprar um celular, dá pra comprar um monitor, dá pra comprar o que você quiser. Tudo isso com a confiança do Banco BTG Pactual e um app bem fácil de usar, cara. Baixa aí o app da Mint, abre a tua conta grátis com o cupom Livelo26 e aproveita. Essa promoção só vai até o dia 31 de março. I mean, we were talking before we started and you've been around for a while, right? And that means you have made not only a name for yourself on electronic music, but I feel like you're part of, the history of trance music at least, right? Especially after I've been talking to some friends. Have you ever heard of Armin, DJ Armin? Are you kidding me? Armin? A state of trance.
Yes.
A state of trance, yeah. So people in Brazil, they know about a state of trance, and they talk. When I asked them, they talked about it. And so you've been around, and you've stayed relevant. You've stayed on the scene, right? And we were talking how it could be a challenge, and you told me that you were just following your heart because you're a lawyer. You could be doing something else.
Yeah, well, let's go back to the beginning. When I started, I was just a kid, 14, 15 years old, in love with all the girls in my school.
And I was trying to... Anybody related to music?
Not really. Well, my father was had a really stressful job. He was a GP, a doctor. Mm-hmm. And the practice was next to our house. So to relax, he always used to listen to music. And as a kid, he used to listen to Jean-Michel Jarre and Guitaro and Vangelis and all those synthesizer music. And I was like, as a kid, like, wow, what is this? What is this? And I guess that's where it started. And then a few years later, the first house music came. I think maybe in Brazil it was a little later, but in the Netherlands, dance music was already super popular. And my parents hated it. So that was the reason to go for it, And also, I think...
What were the biggest names in dance music back then?
Well, it was really, really small. It was only in the Netherlands. It was not outside. There was no UK. There was no US. It was not even Belgium or Germany. It was Holland, Okay. And there were no festivals. There was no Tomorrowland. There was no
market.
No. It was only a thing in clubs.
Okay.
And it was very underground. It was a lot of illegal raves.
How old were you?
I was not old enough to go clubbing. I was 16, 17 years old. There was this massive discussion about drug use, It was very negative. In the press, it was very negative. My parents were very afraid because, it was only this boom, boom music. And they only saw it as aggression, And I saw the beauty of it. Mm-hmm. So as a little kid, I had friends in school because of dance music. My best friends, they're still my best friends. They used to buy the vinyls and we would make mixtapes, and my mother hated it. And well, not hated it. She wouldn't forbid it, but just like, it's not my thing. And that's how I found my identity, I guess. It was not only my passion and the music I love, it was also a way to communicate with my friends in school, and later, of course, when I was DJing, all of a sudden the girls saw me, when before there was no girls looking at me. But if you're a DJ, the girls are like, wow, they're looking at you. So it was also a way to communicate and to be seen, and a way to connect to the people around me, for sure.
But when did you realize that it could be your job? Because it all starts as a hobby. It all starts as a passion, as a way to.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. I think there was one moment I will never forget. I was sitting in a bathtub. I went in to sit in the bath after my first gig in the UK, and at that time it was a big deal. I was a guy from the Netherlands. I had one track, was called Communication, and on the 5th of February 2000, I was asked to play in Cream in Liverpool to warm up for Seb Fontaine, the resident. I'll never forget. And my track was just out, and I played, and it was a success. And I came back to my hotel room, and I sat in the bathtub, and I realized, wow, there's a chance for me to actually make a living out of DJing, really. And I never had the arrogance to think that I would, make a living out of DJing, because there was no money in dance music, especially around the time. B, it was a hobby for me. It was not like, I didn't expect. I was just, let's go for it.
Were you an undergraduate at the time?
Yeah. I finished my law degree in 2002. So in the weekend, during the week, I was like working at a law firm. And then in the weekends, my wife would wait with my bag of records at the airport.
Back then, she was your girlfriend, I guess.
That's my girlfriend, and we would go to the UK and spin vinyl and play every club in the UK. And in the Netherlands at the time, my home country, they didn't even book me. I couldn't get gigs. Yeah, and then it just went all went from there. It's super crazy.
Did you feel like playing for a living, could this kill your passion for playing? Because when you turn something you love into work, doesn't it feel less sexy?
Well, I'm really glad that I was never that it was never my work, because I always thought, like, I'm going to be a lawyer. This is only going to be for 1 year. I'm going to have some fun, make a little bit of cash, and
it's been some years.
That's it. And then, the rest is history, as I said. But I finished my law degree because I thought it was important to have something to fall back on. So I never had the stress on my shoulders, like, okay, I have to be successful because I need to pay rent, or, it was never that pressure. And that also gave me the freedom to go to trance music, which at the time was not the popular sound. I mean, in the Netherlands at the time, DJ Jean was super popular. And he was the hero, and he had this clubby sound, which was not trancey, and he was great. I mean, it still is a great DJ, and he was super popular. But trance was not the most sexy sound. It was not the most popular sound.
And when did you? Because since you've been around for a while, and you've seen the movement, and like you said, in the beginning there was no such thing as Tomorrowlands or
No YouTube, no streaming services, no nothing.
And what do you think was the point in electronic music that it became? There was a point in everything that it turned into something bigger, right? So for electronic music, there were some points in time, like when we started having events, when we started having social media, and rock star DJs, right? Because if what you're saying is, of course it's true, but what I mean is, there was no rock star DJs.
No.
But now you are a rock star DJ. So what happened? What was the most important thing that happened in electronic music that made possible for rock stars DJ?
I think, for me, the most important thing that happened was around 2008, 2009. US radio, daytime radio, top 40 radio, started embracing electronic music commercially. So it became a commercial thing. So I remember actually wanted to slow down.
2000?
2000. Well, it started in 2008, 2009.
Okay.
My tracks, but also the tracks of David Guetta and Tiesto and a few other guys were all of a sudden being played on top 40 radio. And before that never happened. And there's another important thing that happened. In 2011, 2012, all of a sudden, the young generation, the young kids at that time, they all wanted to go to a festival. It was the new cool thing. So all of a sudden, these festivals, like, they appeared out of everywhere. When before that, there were festivals, but they were and they were good, but it was only the exception to the club. Normally you would go to the club, experience the gig there, and then occasionally you would go to the festival. What happened in my experience in 2010 and 2011 was the clubs died down. And people would only go to festivals. And the festivals became bigger and bigger. The invention of the LED wall was super important. The production level went up. People started DJing with the CDJs. The vinyl was out of existence since 2005, 2006. And there was just a whole new generation of young kids wanting to experience like what they saw online, what they saw on the internet. And it became a global thing. So I actually was voted the number one DJ in the world, and for in 2010, and then for the last time in 2012. And I wanted to slow down because I became a father, So I had my daughter Fenna, and I told my wife, okay, I'm gonna slow down. I'm actually gonna make a commercial track because it's not really trancey, but I want to explore this. And I've been making trance for already like 12, 13 years, and I still want to make it, but I also want to try more, maybe a pop song to see if it works. And I wasn't expecting anything. And the opposite happened, of course. This is what it feels like was around the same time my daughter was born. And then the boom of EDM was there. All of a sudden, bam, everywhere around the world were the big festivals like EDC Las Vegas, Ultra Music Festival, Tomorrowland, you name it. And all of a sudden, I was flying all around the world. I was getting paid a lot of money to come to Las Vegas.
And you were trying to slow down.
And I was trying to slow down. And I was trying to sort of,
stay home with your daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the opposite happened. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. But you told me 2000, in the end of 28, 29, you said.
2008, 2009, 2010, 2011.
Okay, 2010.
I think that was a very important time because.
But there were some other. But EDM was EDM very important to electronic music as a whole because it did, in your opinion, go beyond anything else before because everybody I know, they tolerate EDM, So like metal, it can be difficult. Unless you are listening to maybe Iron Maiden, Brave New World, that's easier. Maybe EDM is the easy. I'm sorry.
It's more commercial. It's more commercial, and
it's also important, right?
Yeah, I think no DJ likes to be called EDM, or because it's a bit of a dirty word, I guess. No DJ likes to be called commercial because we all want to look cool and underground, but let's face it, we're not. But what happened is that all of a sudden a big commercial crowd jumped on dance music and wanted to be part of that, and wanted to be part of the rave culture, wanted to experience that, and then the production level went up. Like you would go to a dance festival like you would go to, I don't know, Disney or something. It's an experience, And I think for a lot of people it was like that, but it moved away a little bit from the origins of why we started this, why dance music was so great, and why it's a craft on its own, because EDM is sort of like the commercial version of it. I always say, like, I remember when I started DJing, almost every interview, the interviewer would ask me, hey, how long do you think this boom boom music will be around? It's only going to be a few years, no? No, it's going to stop. When do you think it's going to stop? 2004, 2005? Because we have enough of it, right? Because this is not real music. Because a lot of people weren't considering electronic music real music. And now, if you listen to all the music that's being played on the radio, like 99% of it is produced in a computer. True. So essentially, it's EDM. And I think what we used to call just dance music, you had pop, you had rock, you had rap, and then you had dance music. But now I think dance music is spread out through all the genres. You know, there's hardly any band who records their album without Pro Tools or another DAW.
True.
And this is fine. So there's a big shift. And dance music is spread through all the genres of music, you know. And I think this is great.
Yeah.
But I have to be honest with you, I kind of lost myself a little bit in this as well. I think I enjoyed the EDM bandwagon a little bit too much. It was easy, you know.
What's so easy about it? I mean, do you guys feel like there is a formula? Is that what's
No, that doesn't work anymore. We really live in the post-EDM era. I believe that this is the post-EDM era.
What does that mean?
Well, people don't come for 20 drops an hour anymore. You know, we used to be like, you'd have 1 hour set and then everybody have their phones and there would be, a DJ would start and would play all the hits in 1 hour. And a lot of fireworks, confetti, LED wall, and it was kind of one big ADHD kind of thing, you know. It was a lot of, and I think now we're slowly going back to the roots of dance music again. So longer sets, you play a track longer. It's more the storytelling, less is more. You know, not necessarily a LED wall again. People want to move away from their phones. A lot of people are annoyed when people, you know, you see the intro of a show and then everybody's filming. Try to enjoy the music. Try to enjoy each other. Yeah. So, of course, there's still EDM music will always be there, and it's great for the people who love it. I don't want to bash on EDM music, but I think people are really looking for, that connection back to, for example, my type of music, trance music, is more like it's a journey, you know, and you have to really experience it. You have to be, and it's going back to, you know, smaller settings, so smaller areas. You know, I've played all the main stages in the world. I've played here in Brazil so many festivals, and it's been a great experience. I don't regret it in any way, but I'm glad it's going back to the roots of dance music. Why we actually do this?
I feel something like this in my line of work too, because we call it the habit. You know, it's how the audience perceives your content, how it consumes, how it views you. So for me, I've seen a big shift to short content. Big shift. Everybody went to short content, and it was difficult for me since I make very long content. I mean, you see. So but then we feel it coming back a little. You see. So it's not like give me dopamine. It's more like okay, I'm a little tired of this. Now let me see something that's there. Yeah. Because I don't know if it was a thing for you, but there were those we call them brain rot, and then there was tum 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 sahur. You know this?
No.
Amazing. That's, you know, stupid stuff. But we are not doing that anymore so much. So we don't watch skeletons dancing to annoying music just because it's there. Now we are trying to see a soap opera. So there at least some story. At least there's something there for you to actually watch. You see.
I think people are looking for, ultimately, we're animals, right? We're looking for the human connection. Mm-hmm. We like to understand. And this is what I try to do as a DJ as well. Especially trance music, I'm looking for that emotion to really touch somebody. Because a lot of people ask me, like, sometimes I play smaller shows. Mm-hmm. I love playing smaller shows. And really? You want to play for 200 people? Yeah, of course. I think one of the greatest things about my job is that one day I play for 200 people and then the next day you play for 20,000 people.
Does it really feel the same? Not the same, right?
No. With 200 people, you can actually look people in the eye. You have a much closer connection. But there's a kick, of course, to playing for 20,000 people. It's an ego thing a little bit as well. You're like, you know? Yeah. But recently I've been starting, and this will surprise you. Not a lot of people know this, but recently I've started doing acoustic piano shows. No dance music. I released a completely acoustic album called Piano in November of last year. And this came out of the pure feeling of doing something completely out of the box. So this is not for selling a lot of, it's not for winning a Grammy or whatever. I was sitting behind the piano. Like, if I go into the studio now, I feel the ghost of the festival set of last weekend in the room. I feel the pressure of, oh, we wanted another